up, guys? Tembo here with your weekly core report. With the holidays almost behind us, we're finishing the year strong with some big hits. Let's get to the winners. Christmas brought us 2 days worth of NFL slates over the weekend, and our members took advantage of it. IPT 007 hit for $2,100. The Guru won $5,500. Oaktown Daily Crusher shipped on 2 separate showdown slates, winning over $40K. Elsewhere in NFL, we're in Best Ball Finals week. Congrats to all our members and contributors who advanced. We'll be covering the final results in next week's core report. In the NBA streets, our members' hot streak continued as well. Dr. Lucky 7 hit for $4,500. Shawnee Wins won $7K. Sweet Boy hit for $23K. And Bossolini 1 topped it off with a $50K shipper in Showdown. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Winner's Circle channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. And while you're watching, hit that like button now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports NBA Hardwood show here on Friday night. We're breaking down the 9-game NBA slate. NBA did a pretty good job spacing out the games this week. All pretty solid slates, none of these 2 or 3 gamers. So we'll break it all down, find some winners. A lot to cover, though, before we do so. And we got a little bit of a late start. The crew before us, the Print Factory crew, went a little bit over, so a little bit of a late start here, but we'll get through everything as always on Fridays, joined by my 2 guys, Mr. JTHayes and CDome himself. CDome, I'll toss it to you. You got that hat rocking today. It looks fly, man. I mean, we're used to the nice hair flowing, but today we got the hat. That looks good as well. Butthole Jenkins in the chat. What a good-looking group of hosts for today's show. I'm definitely shipping to that. I can't imagine a better-looking group. I mean, this is as good as it gets here at Run Pure. Let me tell you. CDome, what's going on?
Yeah, no, I agree with that statement. I think we definitely might be the 3 best looking men for this company. Really just putting the company on our backs, for the looks wise. So yeah, the hat, I just wanted to kind of get on the same game plan with you and JT, just feel a little bit more DFS-esque with wardrobe. So, we kicked it off hot, shows and shows ago, but now we're down. We got the coffee. We're just trying to win, man. We're trying to close out the year with some winners. So I'm excited. Also, I heard JT got a little story for us, so I'm just all open ears right now.
Yeah, so the new segment here. I mean, if you watch every week, obviously, the chemistry on the show has been phenomenal. But we're adding a new segment today at the request of JTHayes. It's going to be story time with Uncle JT to get us started here. He said he's got some things he wants to talk to the people about, and then I have not necessarily a story, but I have a couple questions for JT after. So JT, the floor is yours.
Fantastic. Well, it's a little different because Randone is not drinking any wine tonight, and that obviously is going to put a little damper on things. But 2 things. First of all, I started the day with some bad karma. I killed a squirrel, and I don't really know what to say. I thought about rendering aid, but they're notoriously rabid, so it was just something that I had to move on from. So we moved on from that. But last night, CDome, I was out with some friends of ours, some very good friends, Drew and Lindsay, and they're a little younger, so they're still kind of into the reality TV thing. And Lindsay tells us out of nowhere, we're not even talking about it. She says, her mother and her watched like the first 21 seasons of The Bachelor. And I said, oh, really? I said, I work with someone who was on one of those shows, because I don't know exactly which one you were on. And of course, my wife is in the corner popping off like, that's not his job, and whatever. So I tell her who you are and whatever. She goes, oh my God, I think I know him. I think I know him. She goes, is he nice? What do you think? I said, I love him. He's a great guy. And she said she was going to tune in to see what you look like now after The Bachelor, after whatever that show was. So say hello to Lindsay. She's a big fan, and she's checking in.
Well, Lindsay, well, thank you for joining us. No, JT's a great guy. It must be nice to go on a double date. I hope I can go on a double date with him one day.
Yeah, geez. I mean,
Yeah,
that would be.
this guy.
Can we get a trio going? Can we get a Friday night trio, like the three of us with the ladies at some point?
Yeah, absolutely.
JT's wife never gets bored, that's for sure. So he knows what he's doing as a man. I'll tell you that. So we gotta love that. But no, hi Lindsay, and pleasure. And also, I don't know if you guys saw, but Tanner's in the chat too. He said Hoop looks better than or Big T looks better than me, so he's already chirping.
That's tough, man. That's a big time out right there.
That's a big time out, yeah.
JT, I'm assuming you've never seen any of CDome seasons, right, or episodes?
I have not taken in any of the seasons. No, I haven't.
Yeah, so I watched. I mean, my wife was into the show, so I watched CDome season. I mean, you're kind of the villain of the season. Yeah, I mean, they had CDome was the villain, and then I'm sure there's a lot of editing, obviously, that goes into it, because then you meet CDome and it's like, how is this guy the same dude that was on reality TV? It definitely didn't add up, but it is funny because my wife and her friends, obviously, they watch all that shit. They don't anymore, though. After Chris Harrison went, man, that show went downhill. I had to bail. Like, I thought he was a good dude, and he got canceled, essentially, right?
Yeah. No, you know what's crazy is, because we never really talk about the show really on here, but yeah, I started off as a sweetheart, but then when you have a massive amounts of tequila, they don't let you sleep. They start freaking just putting you in detainment. It feels like you start losing your shit, man. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. If you want the recipe to success on how to lose your shit, go on that show, man. It'll definitely teach you a thing or two.
Yeah. Did they do the same shit on the? Because you did the Paradise thing too. Did they do that?
Dude, it's not. It's totally different.
Yeah.
You're just on an island, just chilling the whole time.
Yeah.
You can sleep there. They let you sleep, so thankfully.
Yeah. You said you had two stories, JT. Is it all roped into one there, or?
Well, no. I mean, I almost killed the squirrel this morning. I did.
So the squirrel was. I thought you were just randomly saying that. I didn't know that was actually one of the stories.
I mean, it was tough because obviously my pug Quinn. I'm taking her to grooming. She had an 8:30 a.m. appointment. And the squirrel was kind of in the middle of the road, but usually they get out of the way. And this one looked a little conflicted. Like it was like, should I try and cross? Should I go back? And I was able to not hit it with the tires, but obviously it got caught and hit something with the undercarriage. And I looked in the rearview mirror and it was kind of trying to get up, but it wasn't working. And then on my way back, I saw that sadly it looked like it had been struck a few more times. So it just didn't make it. And I felt bad about that all morning. But then I remembered that I had a great time last night and we were going to tell the story. And actually, I think her mother stopped watching because of the Chris Harrison thing. So it's been a big deal for viewers, CDome. I mean, it's been upsetting.
I can attest to that too. Like that's when Mrs. Hoop bailed on the show too, when Harrison left. Like she said, this is enough, I'm out. Seemed like the numbers had to have tanked obviously after him, because a lot of people did like him, and the way they booted him was ridiculous.
Yeah, he got paid though, so I mean, shout out to him. He secured the bag, so we got to at least give him that.
We the people in the chat, Hoop looks like he just took off his ski mask after a robbery and got on a stream. It's funny you say that because got the hat yesterday, and I vowed that once I got it, I was going to keep it on for a while and never take it off, which obviously I'm exaggerating. I'll take it off at some point, but had to stick with it. And I got on the wife and the kids looked at me and like, that looks terrible. You look like you just robbed somebody. So it's funny he said that, because it's exactly what my family said to me after. But I got to keep rocking it now at this point. There's unfortunately no turning back.
Beatbox says PETA is looking for me, and that's very upsetting. I might have to switch it around and be the guy on the run this time instead of the guy that's hunting. So
you don't want to mess with those PETA people. You'll be the next one canceled. When JT stops showing up on Fridays, they got to him.
If you heard that story, forget about it. It never happened. It was all just to tell you guys a good humorous story.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, boys, before we start talking some NBA? I got 9 games.
No, I guess we're all gonna I'll roster the entire Orlando Magic tonight, so we might as well have
that's the first game. And we gotta go, a little shout out to our boy Tanner, who's in the chat. Obviously he's won the Millie twice. Very successful DFS player, hopping back in the NBA street. So the people out there better watch out, because when Tanner gets into something, he tends to do quite well. So love having him here on board with us. Let's hop into the first game, and like CDome kind of mentioned, the Orlando Magic are going to be the hot topic of this slate because they only have 8 guys going tonight because of all the suspensions. They're facing off with the Wizards. Total in that game is 225.5. Washington favored by 5.5. None of that really matters. The most important part here is Orlando only has 8 bodies tonight, so that means they're all going to play a decent chunk. No Cole Anthony, no Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter Jr., Hampton, Gary Harris, Jalen Suggs, Mo Wagner, all out tonight. 8 bodies left, and those are Fultz, Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, Admiral Schofield, Bol, Terrence Ross, some dude named Caleb Houston, and some dude named Kevon Harris. So I don't know those last 2 guys, but you're going to have some Magic guys in your lineup, at least a couple. They're at home here, relatively close spread, 225 total. Like I said, that stuff really doesn't matter all that much. These dudes are going to play a ton. On the Wizards side, tougher team to kind of get to. Porzingis, I think, is fine, but kind of rounding into full health here, so not really a priority for me on this slate. Orlando Magic definitely are. We'll start with you, CDome. How are we going to handle this Orlando Magic team here tonight?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just base it off what I've seen like the last 2 years when this situation happens. Like Miami Heat come to mind earlier this season, right? It's just they ended up on the optimal no matter what, and it's just too hard to pass up guys who are just going to have massive usage, and their price points are just so good given the situation as well. But also too, it's not like these are some bench players. Essentially, Fultz is a great ball handler. Wagner can score. Banchero can have an elite game as well. And then Terrence Ross at 3,100. I mean, he's just a guy who's probably going to take a ton of shots, a ton of threes. You would have to think that he gets there as well. I think the 5 main Magic guys make complete sense. And when I'm looking at it, especially like from like a 20 max or 150 max perspective, I think I'm going to at least have 3, if not 4 Magic players. And I think there's not even a bad time where you can roster 5 of them essentially. But I just don't see the like logical side of fading them. It's just they show up on the optimal every single time I run the projections. Every time I run the optimizer, they're there. It's just telling me here, basically take these guys and then just try to figure out what low owned, high spend, pay up guys you want to go with. And there's a guy from this game actually that could be that guy in Porzingis, right? Dual eligible, power forward center. The thing about Porzingis tonight is that he's 8,700 and he's projected better than a lot of guys that are in the 9K and above salary range. So he's showing up the optimal quite a bit. Another thing is the ownership's not going to be there. I love it if it's also competitive and he's a run back. So I don't mind going Porzingis whatsoever. And then even Kuzma as well, if you want to kind of flip it and say, okay, I won't go Porzingis and some, I'll go Kuzma and the others, that as well. And I think any other guy that I would give in consideration is Rui Hachimura. His minutes are starting to come up now back from the injury. More of just like a raw scorer. Essentially, I need those rebounds to come into play. But he's 4,100. He had a great game last game as well. So I think there's some promise there. But if this game could stay competitive, this can be a game where you can stack it and have a run back from the Washington side. I don't mind that whatsoever.
Yeah, something I've been trying to do in tournaments this year when I know I'm going to be heavy on a team like this situation where, I mean, you're going to have to play some Orlando Magic guys. Having at least some run backs on the other side, at least a couple pieces, especially if you're building multiple teams. If you're building 1 or 2 teams, yeah, you don't need to do that. But once you start getting up there in the number of teams you're building, I think it just makes sense to include some of the opposing team in the player pool. Porzingis would probably be my favorite on the Washington side. JT, how are you handling this game?
Yeah, I mean, same thoughts here. It's not a question of whether or not you play the Magic. The question is how many guys you're going to play here. So I think you try and rank them from top to bottom. Markelle Fultz, really the only ball handler left on this team in terms of guys that play regularly. I think he's a great play. Bol, the issue with him is because that team has been so crowded, his minutes have been going down. When he's been getting over 32 minutes, he's just been absolutely smashing. I mean, 4,800 on DraftKings is just, I don't see a lineup where I wouldn't put him in. You have Banchero, who looks like an outstanding Rookie of the Year candidate. When this team has been shorthanded, he's been a guy who's just an absolutely everything for them. And even Franz Wagner, his price is down from what it normally is for this matchup. So those are the 4 main guys for me that I'm looking at. Of course, Terrence Ross, only 3,100. Certainly in play as a value piece. He's probably going to get 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, depending on how they shape out, if they give those last 2 guys any action at all. And then agree with Randone as well on the Porzingis call, especially if Beal is out. Price point is too good. The matchup is going to be great here with Bull really being the only guy that you worry about containing Porzingis. He also can shoot from the perimeter. So definitely an option here in terms of game stacking.
Love it. Forgot to mention in the opening, please do us that favor and hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Helps us to continue to bring you guys these videos for free on a daily basis. We got about 510 watching, 170 likes. Figure we get up to maybe about 700. What do we got to get in terms of likes to get the plays of the day, JT?
500 watching. We started off with some really interesting discussion here from really all three of us. We all hopped in with intriguing nuggets for the people. So, I mean, let's do, it's, you know what? It's the day before New Year's Eve though, Hoop. So I'm feeling generous.
Nice.
350 right. is a little light from where I would normally go, but I'm in a good mood. And I've recovered from the disappointment and shame of this morning.
Well, the good news is they're already more than halfway home, 193, and I didn't mention anything. That's a strong start out of the gate. So only one game in, and you got like 4 good stories in the opening. Oh wait, I didn't touch on what I wanted to touch. Sorry, I mean we got another one. Yeah, we got another good story, and we'll go through the games quick. The first one was the most important. Not sure if you caught the beginning of the Hardwood yesterday, because this is, I mean, your area of expertise here at Run Pure Sports. Started the show, title very interactive with the chat, going through, shouting out all the people. Well, he's got a terrible setup right now. He's in out of town at his, I think, grandparents' house, and like he's basically using like a lamp to like light his face during the shows, and he literally looks like a ghost. So someone in the chat goes, "Title, you look like Patrick Swayze from Ghost, the movie." And so Title goes through and he reads it. He goes, "Oh yeah, I know I got a terrible setup. So and so in the chat says that I look like Patrick Swayze from Ghost," and he keeps just going on reading the rest of the comments. And I'm like bursting out laughing, and I'm no like movie guru, actor guru, but I know who fucking Patrick Swayze is. So I was like, Title, I said, "Do you know Patrick Swayze?" He goes, "Who?" I said, "Patrick Swayze, the guy, that you just referenced it in the chat." He goes, "Swayze?" I was like, no, Patrick Swayze. He goes, "I have no idea who that is." I said, Title, he's probably like one of the most iconic actors, I don't know, in like the last like 30 years. I looked it up on the show. Like he was the sexiest man alive, like in the 90s. He's like, "I have no fucking clue." He's like, "Swayze sounds a lot better." So I figured you would appreciate that because, you handle the pronunciation of a lot of the players here and you never get them wrong. So just quick thoughts on that before we move on.
Yeah, I am the Run Pure director of pronunciation, and a couple of things. First of all, for Title, I sympathize because it is so difficult to do these from the road. You guys know I've done these from campgrounds, hotel rooms, what have you, from
middle of the ocean,
luxury resorts in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And Title though is a well educated individual, and he knows the history of not just the United States but other countries, and he knows that Patrick Swayze's parents are from Liberia, and he actually had to change the pronunciation for Hollywood so that the dumber people of the American public could actually say his name. So Patrick Swayze is correct. Title, excellent job as always.
Yeah, I figured there was something more to it when he pronounced it, just ran with it. So I'm glad you're able to clear that up for us. So Liberia descent, you said?
Liberia. Yeah.
Nice. Love to hear that. Okay. Next game on the docket, the Suns and the Raptors, 221.5 total. Raptors favored by 2. And this one, we have some news that we're waiting on, and that would be Fred VanVleet is listed as questionable. Very important, obviously, for this game. He sat last night, and Malachi Flynn drew the start. 30 minutes for him, 24 fantasy points. He's still super cheap at, 3.8K. Scotty Barnes had a big game. OG played a bunch. Siakam, hit 50. All those guys probably back in play tonight if VanVleet sits. If he plays, I really don't have much interest in the Raptors side. On the Suns, they're obviously going to be without Devin Booker for a while. Chris Paul is a good price tag at 7.9. DeAndre Ayton at 7.5. I don't mind. He's been flashing with some big games, but really we need to wait for the news on the Raptors side to really know where we're going to go. JT, any interest here in the Suns Raptors?
Yeah, I think so. Here's the challenge with this game outside of a few pieces. Even if Van Vliet is out, we talked about the Magic. You're looking at a roster construction that's basically the Magic, a couple of spend ups, and then maybe one or two other mid-range guys. And there's a very clear spend up later on that we'll get to. So I do like Ayton here in this matchup. We saw Steven Adams dominate the same matchup last night. We'll see what the Raptors do. They started Koloko and Hernan Gomez, and then they switched out at halftime because they were just getting absolutely dominated on the board. So we'll see if that changes, but definitely like Ayton here. It's just tough to get to anyone else here on the Raptors. The prices are up, and I think in terms of the value, you're going to get better value out of the Magic. So while I would ordinarily say if he's out, you can look to guys like Trent, Barnes, OG. I just don't think the roster construction is going to let you do that today. So Ayton is probably my main piece here in this game.
Yes, I'm with you on that as well. We got the starters for the Magic. Terrence Ross is in there starting 3.1K. If Terrence Ross is starting, you know he is going to be just absolutely chucking the basketball, immediately interested in him. So it's full trust.
He's a must play.
Yeah, Franz Wagner, Banchero, and then Bol. So you get the nut starting lineup, all those guys in play for sure. You want exposure to the Magic tonight. CDome, any interest here, Suns, Raptors?
Don't mind the DeAndre Ayton call. Yeah, he projects fairly well given his price point on a point per dollar basis. He is getting some ownership, low teens, but if you're looking for a position like center and you want to spend up a little bit to 7,500, I don't mind it whatsoever. Chris Paul is also projecting fairly well too for 7,900, but it's really hard for me to want to pay up at that position given the fact that we have like 2 or 3 guards essentially from Orlando that are going to take those specific slots. And so I think I'm looking to pay up at, forward. And I'm also trying to see like, how can I fit Jokic in tonight as well? And I don't think I'm going to be able to do that from this game specifically. I think I would pass on Mekhi Flynn if Van Vliet is out. But I will say that if I do decide to go elsewhere and pay up at a position, I don't mind Scotty Barnes. His price has come down from earlier this year. He's going to play 35 plus minutes. His projection is fairly well. He's also dual eligible, so I don't mind him whatsoever. But other than that, though, I don't really see much value from this game. I've played the Okojis, the Dwayne Washingtons, the Torrey Craigs the last few slates. One night it paid off, other nights it didn't. I just don't think this is that spot for me. So other than that, that's pretty much it for me on this game.
Yep. Next game, Lakers, Hawks. Big total here, 242.5. Atlanta favored by 6.5. Some news here: Clint Capella out, DeAndre Hunter questionable on the Atlanta side, and then obviously no Anthony Davis on the Lakers side. On the Hawks, I think DeJounte Murray still has a nice price tag at 8.9K. John Collins at 5.7 without what's his name, Clint Capella in there. Okongwu finally has had a couple nice games, a couple 40 spots. He had a 44, a 30, and then a 43 last time out. But in those games with the 40s, he played a ton of minutes, 40 minutes and 36 minutes. So really just needs the minutes, but the price is up on him. I like Collins. He'd be my favorite Atlanta Hawk guy. And then on the Lakers, not a ton of interest really at all for me. I'll probably be fading the Lakers here today. CDome will stick with you. Any Lakers or Hawks?
Yeah, well, LeBron's getting quite a bit of ownership from like an early perspective here, a couple hours before the slate. Dual eligible, projection's not bad. It's about 5.5x times his salary right now. Given that he's getting so much ownership and it is a high total, I get it, but I'd rather pivot and go elsewhere. Just because like I feel like I can save and try to sneak in one more guy, especially if I'm stacking the Magic. If Trae Young wasn't going to play, which it looks like I think he is, I think I would have been a little bit higher on DeJounte Murray. Great situation for him if that was the case. The backcourt has kind of really ate up this Lakers team defensively. High total, probably gonna be high pace given the kind of situation here. But I will say a lot of people are going to go to Okongwu. And, last game, because of his inconsistency and the volatility, especially with him getting into foul trouble, I kind of shot away from him in that Brooklyn game, went off. He played 37 minutes. Capella's out. It's tough to say no to a guy who's going to be 5,300. And if he stays out of foul trouble, which I don't know if he'll have an issue with Thomas Bryant, he played fairly well with Claxton down there last game. So, yeah, a lot of ownership's going to go to him. I don't necessarily mind it. So it's going to be interesting what this power forward center position looks like tonight, especially with Bol and Bonchero. So I'm just going to keep my eye on it. But other than that, though, I think you can consider Collins. I don't mind that whatsoever. Westbrook is still in that 7K range where there's triple-double upside. We've kind of seen how this offense looks now with him coming off the bench, and there's no A. Davis. So a lot of usage there, especially when it comes to the second unit. He's another guy, especially with this total, have to keep it into consideration. But other than that, I think I'm going to pass on Bogdanovic tonight. 6,300. He just doesn't grade as well as maybe Franz Wagner does. Or, we talked about Scotty Barnes. If you want to pay a couple $100 more, he grades out even better too. So I think I'm okay there in regards to this game.
JT, the Hawks are your squad. Talk about them, and then any Lakers you might have some interest.
Oh, and it's LeBron's birthday too. So if you want, is that why he's getting that much ownership?
People like playing the narratives. People love their narratives. Maybe.
Yeah, I just played Devontae Adams on his freaking birthday, and he did nothing.
Well, the problem, he has Derek fucking Carr throwing the football to him. Derek Carr sucks.
Josh McDaniels drawing up plays. So, I mean, that's.
I know. I got triggered right there.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, look, 20% ownership now for LeBron. His price came down. You got to think the team needs a win here. I mean, losers of 4 of the last 5, but then again, where are they really headed? So, I don't know. I think there are other pivots than LeBron. I think there are players that are going to be much lower owned in really good kind of sneaky spots. So probably won't go there. As far as the Hawks, trade news would take you off of, the DJ Murrays, the Bogdanoviches, of course. Hunter news is big too, because if DeAndre Hunter is in, that means a little less usage for both Collins and Okongwu. So I don't know. Outside of maybe a little bit of LeBron, I don't think I'll have a whole lot of anything in this game.
All right, we'll keep it moving. Reminder to hit the like button. We need 350. You're sitting at 250, so only 100 away. And very generous of JT to kind of give you guys a freebie, essentially, a little layup today to end the year. So please hit the like and subscribe. 6 more games to go. Pistons, Bulls, 231 total. Bulls favored by 7. On the Pistons side, they'll be without JTHayes after his pussy cheap shot to the back of somebody's head. He's out for 3 games? Should have been longer than that. But that opens up a big opportunity for Alec Burks at 4.4K, back-to-back, very solid games, 35, 49 fantasy points. When Alex Burks is out there, he's looking to chuck, and he'll be doing it here tonight. Don't mind Jaden Ivey, Bogdanovic, maybe. On the Bull side, not a ton for me. I mean, Vucevic, I think, is fine at 7.6. Maybe Levine at 7.7. I don't think I'll be paying 9.1 for DeRozan. The main play for me in this game, definitely Alec Burks. We'll stick with you, JT. Any interest here?
Yeah, first and foremost, just to clear it up, because a lot of people have been asking me, because we do kind of look similar. JTHayes, no relation. Absolutely no relation.
Oh, you guys are brothers.
Just to clear that up, we are not related in any way. I would never do what he did. He should be banned from the league for at least the rest of the season. Alec Burks.
And by the way, my beard is real. I don't know why someone said my beard is fake. I've never heard that in my life. That's just a wild take.
Who's saying that?
I don't know. I saw it in the chat. I could have sworn I saw my beard is fake. I'm like, what?
Never someone put, is that a fake beard? Jacob Venter.
Yeah, you got to be careful, Jacob. We got a quick eject button for insults, and that's one of the top ones. I mean, yeah. But as far as this game, I agree with you. Probably not anything on the Bulls. Looks like Caruso is going to be back. He's probable. And then Alec Burks has been the main ball handler on this team when Hayes has not been in the game. He's out tonight. We'll see. Even if Casey does something wild like starting Corey Joseph and having Burks continue to come off the bench, I still greatly prefer Burks. And then Saddiq Bey is getting some ownership. Look, Saddiq Bey, when he gets minutes, it's not just that he needs minutes, right? He shot 50% from the field, over 50% from three the last game. He'll probably play a ton of minutes, but this is a guy that's so volatile, even at the low price point. I kind of worry and just think the Magic are much, much safer than Sadiq or some of these other guys, especially with Bagley back. That does a lot to impact Stewart and Duran.
Bradley Beal ruled out. Definitely a bump for some of those Wizards
Damn,
guys.
bro. I
Nice,
didn't want that shit too early, man.
Well, it's the first game on the slate, so you're going to get it at some point.
I was hoping hoping, dude, I'm so high on Porzingis tonight, so I'm just hoping that.
You were hoping Popovich took a one-day contract to coach the Wizards, and we would get the starters at halftime.
Yeah, the 7:01 Eastern rule out. Any Pistons or Bulls for you, CDome?
Yeah, I like this game actually. I think Alec Burks, it's hard to say no, especially with Hayes not playing. Gonna have the ball in his hand. He's dual eligible too, so you can kind of combine him with the Magic guys. And I know that's probably going to be relatively chalky from an initial roster construction standpoint, but it's hard. I mean, he pops so much on every time I generate lineups, he's there. And as also his counterpart is there too, Sadiq Bey. And so I understand what JT is saying in regards to like his efficiency of shooting last game. But one thing to take note is like he always comes in, 6 minutes into the first quarter. That's kind of like his role. He played the whole entire second quarter. So like when Hayes kind of was gone the rest of that game, he stayed in. He didn't start the second quarter, but when he did come in, he stayed in the rest of the third quarter, and then he closed out the entire game as well. So if he's going to have the minutes, see, for me, like if it's a minutes thing and he's going to play those heavy minutes at 4,300, I want it. I also want it because it seems like people are kind of veering away from him. So for me, like as from an optimal standpoint, I can fit him in, especially because I really want to attack Jokic tonight. That's like my guy that I'm really got my eyes on. So these pieces matter. And when it's when it's a low salary, as long as the minutes are there, and I know that there's upside because of their, recent performances, I have to kind of take that gamble. So I'm okay with that. And then on the other side, DeRozan does grade out very well for his salary tonight from a projection standpoint. And I think, if I'm fitting in these pieces, and I'm saying this because if I'm doing these Magic guys and then some of these Detroit guys and just these value plays, I need to pay somewhere. And one guy that I will pay for in some lineups to have in there is because he does have that upside for like a 55+ point game is DeMar DeRozan. So outside of that, though, I'm probably going to say no to everyone else. I might have a couple shares of Levine. I'm okay with that. Jalen Duren, if you want to keep, cycling out these centers like Okongwu, Duren, Bol, they're all kind of in that same price range. So I don't mind that either. But yeah, that's pretty much it from this game.
Jacob Vinter clarified his comment in the chat. He's like, no, sorry about the beard. I was just saying it's so sharp, manicured to perfection, no heat intended. It's almost, I think you're saying it looks so good that it's unbelievable, I think is what he was kind of getting at. So
no, you know what it is I just got a shape up for New Year's. And so you get the fade, right? And then you get the shape up. So
wow.
You get the crispy. What he does is he puts a hot towel on your face to get the hairs raised. And then he goes in with a razor. It's a nice little hour and a half little manicure for the face, but always got to get a shape up, man. That's what I'm trying to teach K Falik is, I told him, remember we talked about it before. He's got to keep the water clean. He's got to keep it clean with his wife. He's got to shape up the beard, make her happy.
Nothing like a good New Year's trim. Nothing like a good New Year's trim.
Yeah. Talk about, speaking of K Falik, just on an absolute heater, shipped NBA and NFL last night. Absolutely love to see it. I mean, just going nuclear recently. So that's good. And then CDome, what are you doing for New Year's? Any big plans?
Yeah, we're gonna go to a nice restaurant, a bunch of us to kick it off, and then we're actually my rooftop is gonna throw this huge rooftop party. So there's like DJs and stuff. So just gonna keep it like that, and then I got a lot going on the following day, man, with NFL, with the Millie Maker, with my fantasy league that I'm in the championships on, best ball. So
yeah.
Sunday's a big day, man. So I'm not too much carbonated wine, but I will say, speaking of the carbonated wine, my sister sent me one of the best gifts I think I've ever received. It's like this matte black. It's a carbonator machine. So I don't need the Pellegrino anymore. I can just carbonate the wine. and make it,
really?
Yeah, make it like a sparkling wine. And hey, at the end of the day, it's a game changer, man. Your boy might be drinking red wine every night now. I had some last night.
Well, that's what I do every night. I have a glass of red wine. That's my go-to. I mean, I love it.
Good for the heart. It's good for the heart.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
Yeah,
I have high cholesterol, so I figured it's got to help out the situation a little bit, right?
you need some oatmeal there, Hoop.
Yeah, it's hereditary though. Like both my parents had I've had it since I was 18 when I was in the best shape of my life. Like nothing, can't kick it. So I take the medication, move on, try to eat as clean as I can. I can't get to the CDome status in terms of eating clean, but I do my best and try to combat it a little bit. But hopefully the red wine helps, That's
and I will say Young God said a shape up makes you feel like a new human. I swear to God, if you guys grew out your beard and you got a shape up, you feel like you could take on the world. It's absolutely insane.
I wish I could grow a beard. Like I can't do it.
Dude, you would look sick with it. You would look.
I just don't got it just goes in all patchy. Like I got the hairiest freaking legs in the world. I got hairy arms, and like for some reason, like the face, it doesn't grow in full for me. So it's one of the things you got to deal with.
Damn. JT, did you ever have a beard?
No, never had a beard.
Damn. JT would look sick with a nice, he's got the nice, bald head, but a beard. That'd be a nice look.
Maybe just a thin strip from side to
just
side.
get the chin strap, right?
Yeah.
Just all the way
work
through.
on that. Maybe we'll do that in January.
I think Tambo has that, right?
Tambo did, yes. Tambo does roll with the chin strap, but Tambo also has like the earrings, and he's got a lot going on. He's got the diamond earrings.
He's a certified Canadian gangster.
He really is.
Did you take Tambo by the manscaping place for your face, or
I told him to go get a haircut at my barber. I have to get cut by my Spanish barber. Like I've been seeing him for 4 years. And but he went somewhere else. But he said he was kind of happy with it. Me, I have a particular thing. Like it's all about the fade, right? You gotta there's a certain way to do it. So, but he said he was happy with it. I just wish he would have got the outfit. Because at the end of the day, bro, listen, the next year when I make the baseball live final, when I'm making it next year because I came in second way too many times this year. But when I qualify for that live final, your boy's gonna come in. I'm wearing a freaking Gucci suit. I'm gonna cause a ruckus there for us. All right, I'm just telling you that right now.
I like it.
Can't wait.
Hey, when I open up the jacket, listen, Hoop, I'm gonna have Run Pure Sports inside the jacket.
On the inside, the lining, that would be sick.
I thought you were going to say an RPS tattoo on your chest. It was going to be RPS in the black and red lettering.
Ninja Turd really enjoys himself some JTHayes. I got to find this previous comic because it's good. Is JT wearing a mask? There is no way a human being can be that goddamn good looking. Kind of agree. And then later he goes, JT would look good with a soul patch. 300 likes, and JT is going to rock a soul patch. So,
dude, that would be sick. A JT with a soul patch.
It's kind of. I mean, I love. First of all, I love the attention. It's very nice. It's heartwarming. I'm the person who says how many likes and someone else is going to do something. No, we can't take that role away from me. That's hurtful. That's hurtful.
Yeah. All right, what do we got here? About 5 more games. We have the Timberwolves and we have the Bucks. 228 total. Bucks favored by 7. No Drew Holiday, no Chris Middleton for the Bucks. That puts Giannis kind of at the top of the list here in terms of spends on this slate. The secondary pieces, okay plays. I think the problem is we have better value in Orlando, so it's really hard to trust these secondary pieces for the Bucks. So for me, it's just going to be Giannis. And then on the Timberwolves side, Rudy Gobert is listed as questionable because, well, he just sucks at basketball, and Naz Reid is just much, much better. So that is one bit of information to monitor. 8 Eastern game. Pretty important because if he's out, we can go right back to Naz Reid at 4.9K. So a few plays here. CDome, we'll go to you. Any interest here? Timberwolves, Bucks.
Yeah, I think we could talk about Giannis first. He has the best projection tonight out of all the big time spends up top. So, but that also warrants the fact that a lot of people are wanting to roster him. I can see it tonight where maybe a LeBron, Giannis with a bunch of Orlando definitely is going to be a lot of people's lineups. So one way I want to kind of get different is, go right under Giannis and go for Jokic. So I'm going to continue to kind of focus on how I can just get somewhat different, but still be kind of, in the most optimal path. And So Giannis is a great play, though. I'm going to have shares of him. It just makes sense. And I don't want to be, necessarily against the field when it comes to Giannis. So I'll be somewhere in the mix. But I don't mind Anthony Edwards as well. Great projection tonight. And if Gobert is out, I think I like Edwards even more, to be honest with you. And that leads into Naz Reid. Like, Naz Reid will be 4,900. So there's these pool of centers we spoke about last game that are going to just kind of be there. And so that'll kind of even out the ownership, I think, a little bit. But if Gobert is out, I think a lot of people will go to Naz Reid, and I don't blame them whatsoever. So, that's going to be a guy that is going to be into consideration. Anything else, though, I'm not really particularly keen on. However, though, I will say people are going to go back to the well on Javon Carter. I'm good. There's no shot. That was a waste of my freaking money the other day. I'm just good on that. If Giannis wasn't playing, then maybe I would say, okay, like, we can consider Javon Carter. But I mean, 20+% ownership for a guy that's just, dude, he's just there as an ancillary piece and nothing more. So I'm going to fade the rest of these guys. But, if you want to focus on those first few guys that I talked about, I don't mind it, but that's it for me.
Yeah. JT, any interest here? Timberwolves, Bucks?
Yeah, I mean, Giannis is in the spot from a construction standpoint that Luka was in last night, where you had some value, some pieces open up, and he's got the best projection, he's got the best props, and it's a really good matchup against Minnesota. On the Minnesota side, depending on the status of Gobert, I like CDome's call about, Ant Edwards, particularly if Gobert is out. And this has been a really good matchup the Bucks have for opposing centers. So I like Naz Reid as well. If he's out, he would fit nicely into that roster construction. And then one guy that's not going to get a ton of ownership, but there's some things that I'm looking at that make me think that maybe he gets a few more minutes tonight here in this matchup. Priced down a little bit. Bobby Portis, 6'3", is a contrarian play there in that price range. He could come off the bench, play 30 minutes, and just have a monster game against the T-Wolves, particularly if Gobert is out, but realistically, even if Gobert is in.
All right, we'll keep it moving. Next game up, we have the 76ers and the Pelicans, 229.5 total. Philadelphia favored by 1. In terms of this game, very entertaining game, I think, to watch. When you're looking for fantasy pieces, I don't really see much here with Zion returning for the Pelicans. CJ McCollum is priced up at 8.7, and then on the 76ers side, pretty healthy. I don't really want to spend on Embiid. I like Jokic better. I like Giannis better. Harden at 10K. Not really thrilled. Yeah, this is a game fun to watch, not fun for DFS. JT, thoughts here on this one?
Just Zion, projecting at like 2% ownership. This, again, the 76ers have been eaten up by opposing centers. So, I mean, 9,800 price went down a little bit. Nobody's going to own them. I think it's a perfect contrarian play here to take a risk on Zion, who's just been playing out of his mind here.
Yep. CDome?
Yeah, I mean, there's no ownership going to this game whatsoever. So I think with the cheap guys that we have, I mean, there's guys that can definitely potentially pay off here. And those 3 guys are Embiid, Harden, and Zion. So they will be in the player pool, and I will have them in, a lineup or two, just given the fact of the upside that they can bring and given that the ownership won't be there. So just studs that you should really look at and consider if you're multi-entering and you feel like they fit, and depends on what you project them at. I don't mind those 3 whatsoever, but everything else, though, I think I'm going to kind of shy away from, and I'm okay on.
Yep. What do we got? 301 likes. We need the 350. Starting to slow down. The pace was strong out of the gates. Now we're starting to slow down. You never want to finish slow. You want to finish strong. So make sure we get those likes up. Next game we have the Heat. We have the Nuggets, 223.5 total. On the Heat side, all their key guys look to be in tonight, and that is not good for DFS purposes. They're a team that I really think moving forward, we need guys out to play. The price tags are full. I mean, Tyler Hero, 9K, Jimmy Butler, 9.2, Bam, 8.5. I'm good on all that. So I'll be passing on the Miami Heat. On the Nugget side, Bruce Brown questionable, Aaron Gordon questionable, Jamal Murray questionable. I want to be on Jokic either way. I don't care who's in, who's out. I want some Jokic. The guy's just a phenomenal basketball player. So only play for me is going to be Jokic in this game, and I like him quite a bit. CDome, thoughts here?
Yeah, this is kind of where I want to pay up for a guy that with just so much upside. He plays so much better at home. Always also plays hard against Miami. I don't know if you guys remember, but the beef that he has with Miami, essentially, it's kind of like a rivalry thing for him. So I know that, when it comes to like the front court and stuff, Miami's pretty stout defensively, especially with Bam. But I mean, Jokic he's just going to eat regardless of who you kind of throw in the mix at him when it comes to any team. So, it is a nice pivot. You're saving $100. I know that's not much from Giannis, but two guys that both are able to be put into the center position. One guy is getting so much ownership, the other guy isn't, and so I think that's a pretty strong leverage play in my opinion when it comes to Jokic. So don't mind him. And if Butler does play, I just will say it is something to take into consideration. He does have a good projection. He's just not getting any ownership. And I mean, it's just one of those things where 9,200, and Edwards is 9,300, DeRozan's 9,100. I want to rotate these guys because if one of them goes off, at least I'll have them with kind of the construction that I'm looking at going with tonight. So, but other than that, though, I think I'm good on everything else. Obviously, we've liked attacking Denver with the point guard position, but that's been kind of different kind of the last 2, 3, 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. So, Kyle Lowry is probably going to be a no for me. He's also 6,900, and his projection is not well whatsoever. Gordon and Porter, their projections based on their salary does not excite me whatsoever. I'd rather go elsewhere. It just doesn't make sense. So that's pretty much it for me on this game.
Yep. JT, any interest in the Heat or Nuggets tonight?
No, I get the leverage play with Jokic here. I think it's a little risky if like two of these guys are ruled in, with the pace coming down a little bit, but he does, any game he has a ton of upside. So if he's going to be low owned, certainly an opportunity to take advantage of that.
All right, 2 more games. The likes, they're coming up a little bit, 317. But yeah, if we don't have 350 at the end, we will get on out of here. You'll be missing out on the carbonated wine play of the day. You'll be missing out on the Eiffel Tower play of the day, and also the Rich Parents play of the day. So make sure we get those likes up. Portland and Golden State, 232 total. Portland favored by 1.5. Our guy Damian Lillard is 9.7K. JT kind of mentioned his name early on, so curious to see what he has to say about him. Anthony Simons playing a ton of minutes, but man, just not doing anything fantasy-wise. Tough, obviously, for a guy like him. Needs the ball in his hands. Just playing alongside Dame so much, where his production's taking a huge hit. So for me, it's just Dame on the Portland side. On the Warriors side, I have some interest in Klay Thompson, 7.1K. Good matchup here, I think. The minutes, are going to be there. The shot attempts are going to be there. Just a matter whether or not the shot is falling. So I like him quite a bit at 7-1, probably my favorite Warrior play. Jordan Poole, I think the ownership probably pretty low on him tonight after a couple down games, but Dame and Klay I have my eye on in this one. JT, will go to you first. Thoughts on your boy Lillard, and then any other Warriors plays?
Yeah, as Mamba for Life says here, 350 likes is a gift, and it really is a gift. I mean, we've been in the 400 range and whatnot, so let's get these last 16. As far as this game, Dame is still taking right around 20 shots a game at a down shooting game. Last time out, 5 of 18. He gets a great matchup here. I like Dame here, and he gets a potential boost because Yusuf Nurkic was a midday downgrade, likely out. So you're going to have Eubanks as potential value in there, and a lot of opportunity on the pick and roll against whatever the Warriors do down low. I can get there with Klay Thompson. It's always a risk because he really doesn't do much else other than shoot the ball. So there's, I think, other plays where, for me, there's going to be guys that are getting those ancillary stats. But if he has one of his big shooting nights, that price is too cheap for him. But Dame is really my top priority here, along with potentially Eubanks.
Van Fleet ruled out, so big boost. OG, Scotty Barnes, Siakam. Probably don't need to go the Malachi Flynn route. We have enough value there. Gary Trent, little boost to him as well. So just wanted to put that news in the mix. CDome, Portland, Golden State. Any interest here? Mute.
Great call. Great call.
It happens to the best of us.
Damn, that's my first one of the season.
That's impressive.
I was wondering how long Hoop was going to let you go on.
Well, the best part is I started to notify. I was like, mute. And I realized I was on fucking mute. So I'm sitting there telling you you're on mute, and my dumbass is on mute as well.
No, I like the Lillard play. He grades out very well tonight for his price point, and also to not getting the most egregious ownership. I think it's also a late night hammer play. He's a guy that also is in that 9K range. If you're building blocks elsewhere earlier in the night, he is definitely a great guy to consider. I don't know if I can go to Jordan Poole at 8,200. I don't think I'm interested there. But I will say Josh Hart for GBP play grades out very well tonight. 5,800, dual eligible. He's also in that 5K range. So if you kind of want to swap out some pieces, don't mind it. He's been getting a lot of rebounds as well. So, if his scoring is there, there's double upside. Don't mind that whatsoever. Nurkic could potentially eat in this situation if this stays competitive too. So I think, maybe you can consider him, but obviously we have so many other areas at center that it's really difficult given the situation. But outside of that, man, I think I'm good on everything else. As far as ownership, I think some people might go to Clay, 7,100. Don't mind it, but I think I just want to go elsewhere, especially at the shooting guard position.
All right, one more game. We have the Jazz and the Sacramento Kings. Big boy total here, 242. Sacramento favored by 3. Utah kind of at full strength. And for me, when they're at full strength, they're not a team that I really want to be on. So despite the big total here, I'm not going to have any really Utah Jazz players. On the Kings side, though, I think De'Aaron Fox, fine option. I think Sabonis at 10-3 coming back from what he was off for one game, came right back. 38 minutes, 56 fantasy points. He's been a beast this season. So I want him in my player pool. So just Sabonis and Fox for me in this one. JT, thoughts here, Jazz, Kings?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. Sabonis and Fox, outside of those two guys, when everybody else is healthy, they've now gone back to this ridiculous 11, 12-man rotation. I don't even think I get to Fox and Sabonis, despite the total. Outside of that, not really much interest here.
CDome, any Jazz or Kings for you?
Yeah, I mean, Sabonis is in a great spot, man. Utah struggled against big men this year. If you want to go to a big man that can really pay off, and don't really know what the ownership's going to be like yet, but if it's in the single digits, you got to love it, right? So him and LeBron are kind of in that same price range, obviously different positions, but it's just something to take in consideration as far as so much ownership going to one. But yet you can try to figure out how you want to put in Sabonis maybe in the utility. And that's another leverage play right there. So don't mind Sabonis whatsoever tonight. I think, him and Jokic being later into the night and both being in the same position, I'll probably try to flirt with some different lineups and swap them out and see where I can pay elsewhere. De'Aaron Fox, another good spot for him. Don't mind it. 8,700. Markkanen, he's been kind of crushing it, especially last game as well. Dual eligible 8,400. Can he sustain that tonight? Can he stay on fire? I mean, if that's what you think, sure. But everything else, though, I mean, if you're looking at like Monk, Barnes, Conley, Kevin Huerter, Jared Vanderbilt, like all these guys have like literally the same projection and the same salary. So if you're going to want to try to rotate pieces out and you need something in this price range, I don't mind going to this game to look for that specific spot. So yeah, there's a lot of different options here. A little bit of ownership going to the guys, but nothing crazy. But yeah, I think Sabonis is looking very well tonight, especially if he can stay in that single-digit ownership range. Yeah,
I like it for sure. I mean, when he gets over the 10K, I think people get a little bit, scared to play him. But I'll definitely be on him. All right, that does it for the game-by-game breakdown. We got there on the likes, 367. We encourage you to continue to hit the like button, even though you guys already got to the number. But it'd be nice to get closer to that 400 number if possible. So please hit the like. Hit the subscribe button, helps us out a lot. Let's go ahead and hop into the plays of the day. I'll go first with the rich parents play of the day. And I mean, the Orlando guys are going to be obvious. I mean, all those Orlando guys are great plays, so don't want to necessarily go there. I am going to go to the Golden State Warriors, and a guy that I actually think is not very good at basketball in terms of winning games for his team. But Klay Thompson, with these guys out, playing upper 30s in terms of minutes, going to shoot it as much as he wants on the court. 232 total, close spread. Going Klay Thompson, I think this might be like the first time I've ever picked him, as well as the rich parents play of the day at 7.1K. No Orlando Magic, though. That's going to be one rule that I'm going to set here. Orlando cannot be part of this segment. All right, we'll go to our guy CDome next with the carbonated wine play of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, no, I talked about this guy. It's actually from the Orlando game, but it's on the opposing team. Kristaps Porzingis, man, he's just now he's even in a better spot with no Beal. The usage is going to be there. The minutes will be there. If he's efficient from the field, he has a chance to really eat up Orlando here in this situation, given that Wagner's out, Carter's out, Mo Bamba's out. I mean, there's really not much there outside of Bobo, but I mean, it's just a smash spot for him, in my opinion. He's showing up in a lot of optimal lineups. Projection is one of the best, and he's only 8,700 tonight, dual eligible. So if you're looking to kind of have a little game stack early on, don't mind him whatsoever. And to be honest with you, I don't mind throwing Kuzma into the mix as well. So Kristaps Porzingis is the carbonated wine play of the day.
Yeah, nice little boost there, obviously, with Beal out. Unfortunately, that news hit a little bit too early for you. I know you had hopes of, yeah, it's all right though. It's all right. All right. Lastly, we're hopping on that Air France flight over to the Eiffel Tower. JTHayes, who do you got for us as the Eiffel Tower play of the day?
Well, Hoop, you went with someone who's making his maiden voyage as the rich parents play of the day. Yeah. I am going to go old school. I'm going to go to someone who's been a frequent flyer on the jet over to Paris. I'm going to go with the guy from my very first Hardwood show. He smashed that night. He's going to absolutely smash tonight. You need to get a little savings for one of your spend ups. And Damian Lillard, that is the correct pronunciation. Don't worry about it. He's the Eiffel Tower play of the day.
Nice little pairing with my guy, Lillard and Klay. I like that. A little back and forth there. Yeah. Nice. All right. That'll do it for the plays of the day. That will do it for the show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Had some fun stories there in the opening, got down to business, found the winners. This will be our last Friday show of the year. So happy New Year to everyone. Be safe out there. Have fun. We'll be back next year, better, stronger, picking more winners. But for tonight, that'll do it. For JTHayes, for CDome, I'm Hoop. Good luck tonight in your contest.